Thank you for joining us. This is Health Your Own Way podcast, and I am your host, Mo Atkins. Welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about CrossFit for women. My guest speaker today is Maria Howlett. She's a personal trainer with a CrossFit Level 1 certification and is passionate about mobilizing women over the age of 40. So she's a badass, like honestly. Like I see her lift stuff, I'm just like, okay, I goals when I get older. I'm telling you, as I get older. So I want to say thank you for joining me today, Maria. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
You look at your smile. Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, that you're very passionate about, mobilizing women over the age of 40. First, why are you passionate about that? I guess that's the first question. Because a lot of people don't really think of women being active over the age of 40. They think they should just stay home and just not do anything. Not everybody, but just a few. Go ahead. Let me ask, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it started because I was in different scenarios in a gym or in a CrossFit class, and I was looking around. It's like, where are the other over 40 women? Like, where's everyone? And so that's where it started. And then I realized that as I was looking more and more into it, it's not very cool to be throwing weights around and and being super active with weights and to CrossFit. And it just comes at from different aspects, but we can get into that.
Okay, so when you say it's not cool, honestly, I think I understand, because a lot of people think, okay, heavy weights will lead to like women looking certain ways and stuff like that, or it could be very scary for women to think of lifting weights. So before we go further into that, let's step back. For many people that have heard of CrossFit, what is CrossFit? Because I've tried it. No, I can't say I've tried it. I'm sorry. I've not tried CrossFit. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the actual definition of CrossFit is constantly varied functional movements executed at a high level or high intensity. So if you actually break it down, it just means that the constantly varied part means that there's gymnastics, there's weights, there's cardio, there's all sorts of different aspects thrown into one thing. So you're not just becoming really good at running or really good at weightlifting or really good at something. It's kind of everything together.
I think I understand what you mean. So it's a combination of different not exercises, but different type of movements. Like you said, gymnastic, you said bodybuilding, you said weightlifting. So all that different aspects put together in one type of workout, but at high intensity is what you're saying.
Yeah, and the high intensity just means your level. So it's very personalized, and functional movements means that it's based on how your body actually moves.
I can understand that, because
the example I like to use. There was a 70-year-old or early 70-year-old grandma, and so she was living alone because women tend to live longer than men. And her kid said, "You got to try CrossFit. You got to try CrossFit." And so she went to her doctor, and she mentioned that she wants to start CrossFit. And then the doctor said, "Don't do that. You're going to get hurt." So she got the coach to come with her to the doctor. And then, so the coach said, "So what happens if she drops her keys to the floor and then she can't get it? Like, she has to hinge at the hips, bend her knees, reach down, pick up those keys." That's a deadlift.
I see what you're saying.
Right? Or if, you pick up your grandkid, that's a clean. Or if you put dishes overhead, that would be a press.
Yeah.
So that's what we mean as functional. So you actually learn or pick up heavy grocery bags. That would be a deadlift. So you can translate how to do these properly, how to do these movements properly in everyday life.
I like what you're saying, because I don't think a lot of people realize that. I think even just not even CrossFit, but just working out specifically, it is in a sense functional movement. They think, okay, lifting certain things, but then when you lift your head over your hand like this, right? You're literally maybe putting something over your head to put something on a shelf or something, or even when you're bending down like keys, right? If you can't hinge properly, like how are you moving, right? So like I think when we mentioned CrossFit for women, why do you think it's important for women to get into or even consider getting into CrossFit?
Especially women, because we tend to live longer
Okay.
as well. And then also, how do you picture yourself living when you're 80 or 90, right? So because now we live into our older, like we're getting, the age limit is getting pushed out. So how do you picture yourself? How,
I
so
know
if
what you mean. Like,
want to be,
what's your ideal? Like, how do you see yourself in
yeah,
the future? I get what you're saying.
yeah. So this was a huge eye opener when I went to the nursing home to see my mother-in-law, and I see rows and rows of wheelchairs just parked in front of a TV. And
Rows and rows
it's
of
like
wheelchair.
wheelchairs, people are just parked in front of TVs in a nursing home because they can't move. They're at the mercy of the staff. So that's their entertainment. I thought, oh my God, I don't want to end up like that. I want to be active. I have a grandson. I have a family. I want kids. I have my kids, and I want to be able to be involved in their lives. I don't want to be at the mercy of anybody to do what I want to do.
I like that. I like when you said that, because
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, people are scared of CrossFit because they think it's extreme. But then when you mention that, your high intensity is based on your level, I think that's where the distinction is. So I think what Maria is basically saying, that you may see CrossFit, I may look scary, but they're not asking you to lift as heavy as the other person because that's their level. It's really what you can do personally, right? And, for a lot of people that may be watching and listening as Maria, the question then would be is why there's like, what do you think is, no, let me step back. What do you feel about why do you think there's such negative views on women CrossFitting? If there is any, well, I think there is, but this is where you tell me if I'm wrong or not.
I think a couple things is because, well, first of all, we are only exposed to the extremes. What do you see is only the fittest of the world. Tia Claire Toomey, like
She's
that's
a
her
badass. Sorry,
job. Yeah.
badass.
Oh
Oh,
my
I
God.
know who she is. She's badass. Sorry.
I love her to bits. She's amazing, but her diet is dialed into science. Her workouts are dialed into science. This is her full-time job to be an athlete. So we don't do that as normal people, but this is the only thing you see. So if you actually looked inside a gym, you will see all kinds of people, all sorts, heavy, light, skinny, heavier, like strong, weaker. I've even been in a gym where there was a lady who was half paralyzed, so she could use only one side of her body. People with all sorts of issues. So that's everyday life, and they go there to get the best out of themselves and to make sure that they can live a much more fuller life.
I like what you
So
said. It's good.
yeah,
Because the reason why it kind of spoke to me, because you're right, we always see the extreme side. We always see the person that does the 60 pounds or whatever kilograms over the head, and you're like, that kind of looks unnecessary. Like, that looks painful. But then you remember, you have to realize those people do this for a living. They've basically been trained. So I think what Maria is saying, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that CrossFit is not that extreme. There's different levels. We work with your level of understanding as well as level of fitness, and then you grow from there. Is that fair to say?
absolutely. And it's really easy to look at those extremes and compare yourself against that and say, I'll never get there, but you don't have to. You just get to your best. Your goal is to become just a little bit better than you were yesterday.
Okay. Then if somebody was listening to you and say, okay, you know what? I may not be that scared of CrossFit. How do I start? Like, where do I begin?
You would probably find there's so many gyms out there because it's so popular. Find one that you like, that speaks to you. Try out a bunch of different things. So just like as you would find the hairdresser that you like the best, you would almost interview hairdressers and try them out. If you don't like one, you go to the next one. And then
I
if you
would
like,
think you'd want to do your research first, correct? Is that fair?
yeah, you can ask around and see which one. You can also go to the websites of different CrossFit gyms and just see the vibe, which one you like. Also within a CrossFit gym, you might vibe better with different instructors, different coaches. I know I totally dorked out on coaches that were like really specific and very meticulous about explaining form, because I'm all about form and safety. Others are, they go over the form, but they are not as a stickler when it comes to different details. But I like the details. So anyway, so I seeked out those coaches that did that, and also different times attract different clientele, so different people, and then eventually you're in a community that like you see the same people over and over and over, and then it becomes like a little family.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, it's so cool. You gain lifetime friends because just the CrossFit philosophy is just so amazing. Like for example, the first person becomes the loudest cheer for the last one, because we don't start putting away our equipment until everyone finishes. We all finish at the same time. And as people finish, they just go over and start cheering on the other people. And it's just so amazing. The last person has like 20 people cheering on them. It's an amazing environment.
It sounds amazing. I think for a lot of people that, if you are looking to get into fitness, and again, for women, this is really we want to point out that as you age, it is important to work out, to stay active. So for women that, because we mentioned earlier that you are passionate about helping women over the age of 40 try to hit their fitness goals. If they're listening to you now and watching yourself, if they're interested in learning more about your services or how to get into CrossFit, what's the best platform for them to reach you out on?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm under Feel Sexy Over 40, and the 40 is the number 440.
I like that. How did you come up with feeling sexy over the age of 40?
Because to me, sexy means confident, and I want all women to feel confident in their skin.
Oh, I like that. And I think, if anybody wanted to know what's next for Maria, like what are you doing next? What are you passionate about? What can we learn more about you right now?
I feel that women over 40 are a bit underrepresented. So I'm in the process of creating a platform for women. So I started a private Facebook group called Badass Vibes. And there we talk about every aspect of wellness. So it's mental, physical, nutrition, spiritual, all sorts of issues that women over 40 face. So there's nothing is off topic, and everything's open. I want open-minded women in there who are strong and just totally open to all sorts of ideas. And then we just figure out life.
What's the Facebook group again? If somebody want to maybe reach out and join?
Yeah. Oh, it's called it's called Badass Vibes. So the link would be in my Instagram.
Okay, perfect.
Bio, so it's easy to find. It would be under masterclass.
So we'll make sure we put it there. So before I let you go, I want to say thank you for this conversation, because honestly, when you look at CrossFit, a lot of women don't even step into the gym, but they may think CrossFit is scary, but the mere fact that you stated that, it's not about lifting as heavy as the other person. It's not lifting for your level of fitness and growing from them and building that community. So I want to say thank you for pointing it out, because I think a lot of people are scared when they think of CrossFit. So it's really good to hear this. So before I let you go, anything you want to say or add before we close off today?
Yeah, I just encourage everyone to try it out. Just come on out. Don't be scared. Once you're in there, you will love it.
Thank you. And Maria, thank you for having and for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're glad to have you join us. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, share with anyone that needs to be empowered and inspired. And don't forget to join us next week for the next episode of Health Your Way Podcast. Have a good day, you guys.